Do you think it's possible that a serial killer doesn't kill his victims? Stick around, because today we're uncovering some psycho killer key facts in under 8 minutes. Number 8. The Rostov Ripper, Andrei Chikatilo. Imagine a killer so depraved that his methods are straight out of a horror movie. Between 1978 and 1990, Andrei Chikatilo preyed on women and children in Russian towns, committing at least 52 murders. His crimes were gruesome: necrophilia, cannibalism, and mutilation. Chikatilo lured his victims with promises of help or money, only to subject them to unspeakable horrors. Despite an extensive investigation by Soviet authorities, he remained at large for over a decade. It wasn't until a routine document check in 1990 that he was finally apprehended. His trial revealed the depths of his depravity, and he was sentenced to death by firing squad in 1994. Sometimes, reality is far scarier than fiction. Speaking of elusive killers, that brings us to one of the most infamous names in history. Number 7. Jack the Ripper.
Scientists are finally revealing the DNA evidence they say helped solve one of history's biggest crime mysteries, the identity of Jack the Ripper.
Ever wondered how someone could commit murder with such precision that it leads to speculation about their medical knowledge? Jack the Ripper, operating in London's Whitechapel district in 1888, brutally murdered and mutilated 5 women, all prostitutes, with surgical skill. Despite numerous investigations and suspects, his identity remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Talk about leaving a chilling legacy without ever getting caught. While Jack the Ripper's identity may be shrouded in mystery, the next killer's crimes are as explicit as they are terrifying. Number 6. The Milwaukee Cannibal, Jeffrey Dahmer. Picture a man whose crimes include not just murder, but also necrophilia and cannibalism. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee Cannibal, targeted young African-American men and boys, luring them to his apartment where he drugged, killed, and dismembered them. His most shocking act? Drilling holes into his victims' heads in an attempt to create zombie-like servants. Dahmer's reign of terror ended in 1991 when he was caught and convicted of 15 murders. He was sentenced to life in prison, but was later killed by another inmate. When you think things can't get worse, Dahmer proves you wrong. From a lone predator to a manipulative mastermind, our next figure used charisma instead of brutality to incite violence. Number 5. Charles Manson. Ever met someone who could manipulate others into doing their dirty work? Charles Manson was a master of this dark art. Leading the Manson family, a cult mostly comprised of young women, Manson convinced his followers to commit horrific murders in his name. In 1969, they killed actress Sharon Tate and 4 others at her home, followed by the murder of Leno and Rosemary LaBianca. Manson's goal was to incite a race war he called Helter Skelter. Though he didn't physically commit the murders, his influence led to a conviction and a death sentence, later commuted to life in prison. It's a case of mind control that turned deadly. While Manson controlled through fear and influence, our next killer preferred to create his own twisted reality. Number 4. The Butcher of Plainfield, Ed Gein. What if I told you that someone made household items and clothing out of human skin? Meet Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield. After the death of his domineering mother in 1945, Gein's fragile mind snapped. He turned to grave robbery, necrophilia, and murder. In 1957, police uncovered a house of horrors where Gein had made items from human skin and bones. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he was declared legally insane. Gein's gruesome acts left a lasting mark, inspiring films like Psycho and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sometimes, it seems like the scariest monsters are the ones hiding in plain sight. From the isolated Midwest to the bustling streets of California, the next killer brought terror right to people's homes. Number 3. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. Imagine someone who not only committed brutal murders, but also performed satanic rituals. That was Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Between 1984 and 1985, Ramirez terrorized California with a series of brutal home invasions and murders. His methods were especially cruel. He would break into homes at night, assault his victims, and leave satanic symbols at the crime scenes. His reign of terror ended in 1985 when a group of residents recognized and apprehended him. Ramirez was convicted of 13 murders and embraced his notoriety, taunting the families of his victims. His death sentence in 1989 closed one of California's most terrifying chapters. As chilling as Ramirez's crimes were, the next figure in our list hid his true nature behind a mask of charm and sophistication. Number 2. Ted Bundy. If you've seen the Netflix series, you know Ted Bundy was a different breed of killer. On the surface, Bundy appeared charming and charismatic, traits he used to gain the trust of his victims. For nearly 4 years, he embarked on a multi-state killing spree, murdering over 30 young women and girls. Bundy had a cunning method, often posing as an authority figure or feigning injury to draw his victims close. Once within reach, he would attack brutally. Bundy's ability to blend into society allowed him to evade capture for years. Even during his trial, he tried to portray himself as a victim, but the evidence against him was undeniable, leading to his conviction and death sentence. Sometimes, the most charismatic people are hiding the darkest secrets. And finally, we come to perhaps the most unsettling figure on our list. Number 1. A man who managed to keep his monstrous side hidden behind a seemingly normal facade. John Wayne Gacy, who deceptively presented himself as the friendly Pogo the Clown while hiding a monstrous secret. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy lured at least 33 young men and boys to his home in Norwood Park Township with job offers or promises of a ride. Behind his genial facade, he drugged, strangled, and suffocated his victims, burying many beneath his house or discarding their bodies in nearby rivers. The true extent of his horror was revealed in 1978 when police uncovered numerous human remains at his property. Gacy's trial in 1980 exposed his chilling habit of keeping mementos from his victims and meticulously recording his crimes. Despite the overwhelming evidence, he remained defiant, delivering his infamous final words, "Kiss my ass," before his death sentence. Gacy's case serves as a haunting reminder of how evil can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary exterior, making his story one of the most disturbing in criminal history. In the grim world of serial killers, these individuals stand out not just for their brutal crimes, but for their cunning and the sheer horror they inflicted. Each left an indelible mark on history, causing immense suffering. Their calculated cruelty and psychological manipulation left a trail of devastation that extended far beyond their immediate victims, impacting entire communities and instilling lasting fear. Their stories are stark reminders of the darkest facets of human nature and the profound effect such terror can have on society. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel, The Speedy Secrets, for more gripping content. Your support helps us continue to bring you in-depth stories like these. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.